We have been probably told many times that music plays a fundamental role while learning a language, and we have probably asked to ourselves in what ways it can influence it. The first approach of every individual to sounds takes place well before people may think. This is exactly the topic on which Alfred Tomatis, a French otolaryngologist, focused his studies. After having created a mechanism which can reproduce the auditory birth of the fetus, Alfred Tomatis has demonstrated that the baby can perceive the sounds during the final stages of the pregnancy. The next stage of the development of the child is represented by his/her first approach to the language itself, which is dictated by his need to be fed. The researcher divides the approach to the first language in two main phases. The learning of the language of the mother, that is to say, the language he or she is going to use initially with his parents, who are the only people who can understand it. Later, he or she will learn the so-called language of the father, the language used in the communication between adults. These two phases converge in the baby talk, term coined in 1986. It indicates the way in which adults or children who are older than 3 years of age talk to infants. It is mainly used in the window of time during which the baby is aged between 12 and 16 months, and its use decreases until the child is going to be 8 years old. The baby talk is characterized by the use of abbreviations, simplification of consonant and vowel clusters, the massive presence of diminutives and verbs in the third person of the singular, the omission of grammatical elements, and finally, by the use of lexicon reduction and deictic elements. As the two abilities which allow man to turn his thoughts into words or notes, music and language share a number of characteristics as stated by the linguist Chomsky and the musicologist Schenker. According to Chomsky, the main similarity between music and language lies in their inner differentiation in surface structures and deep structures. The surface structures represent the sequence of words or notes when it is being written, said, sung, or played. The deep structure is an abstract entity thanks to which it is possible to find a sentence's surface structure by means of transformational rules. Both music and language have their own codes, which can be combined in unlimited combinations. They both need the auditory and oral channel to be produced and perceived. The way in which music and language are written is aimed at expressing thoughts with symbols on a piece of paper. Music, just like language, has punctuation, which consists in its tonality, rhythm, and phrasing. The child has many teachers, such as his parents, his siblings, his peers, during the period of preschool education, which is crucial in view of the next stage. Unlike music learning, the formal study of language comes after an informal introduction to its basic skills that will be then formalized and improved in schools. In fact, according to Edwin Gordon, in most cases children are not provided with an adequate introduction to music. Seeing that parents do not give the same importance to music and language, children are often sent to music schools without knowing anything about music. As for the spoken language, music's teaching requires the use of dialogue, which is a rich source in visual and communication stimuli. Right on these principles, Edwin Gordon based his music learning theory, aimed at describing the learning of music from the early stages of a baby's life until childhood. As regards a scientific approach to this matter, a Canadian study published on the Journal of Neuroscience, carried out by Virginia Panion, psychologist at Concordia University of Montreal, has demonstrated that studying a musical instrument at a young age can improve the synapses and it contributes to the development of the brain. As regards to fabricated myths, according to which music can improve cognitive skills, making children smarter, they have been proved wrong by Samuel Mayer, a researcher at Harvard University. Furthermore, it is important to underline the role played by the hear and listening in the process of learning a language. During his studies, Alfred Tomatis managed to create an electronic methodology which can condition the ear and the vocal tract by means of a music stimulation in the aim to facilitate the learning of a language and curb all the pronunciation-related difficulties. It is possible to condition the ear only after 3 cycles of Tomatis sessions, by training the muscles of the ear to perceive frequencies and sounds which are different from those of our mother tongue. In addition to the above-mentioned benefits, it is also important to cite those for people affected by a learning disorder, such as dyslexia, a neurological disorder affecting the ability to read and understanding written texts. Alfred Tomatis has demonstrated that exploiting music's ability to emerge emotional memories and by overcoming the negative ones is a key factor in the correction of dyslexia. In conclusion, music and language, two fields that could seem completely different, have several expression and learning-related aspects in common. The rehabilitation of listening skills is fundamental in the optimization of language learning, both of a foreign language and of a mother tongue, in addition to the improvements in the correction of some learning disabilities, such as dyslexia.